All right. Welcome. Go ahead and get you a drink and get settled into your seats. I want to welcome everyone on this very warm July day. I'm David Hayes. I'm the president of the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. In behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to extend a hearty welcome to all of you that have come to join us for this very special award ceremony and induction ceremony, and to honor these 2025 inductees. Before I do the board introductions, I just want to say that Lynn Hauser is going to be doing the invocation, and we are going to be remembering 3 of our lost members of the Hall of Fame that we've lost in the last year, and one just recently in Bob Hamill. So he'll be addressing the group here in just a minute. But before Lynn comes up, I would like to announce or show you who these board of directors are. If you guys don't mind standing just briefly, if you don't mind. Lynn Hauser, past president. Kit Klingerhofer, past president. Board members Greer and Nancy Warner. Pat Hauser. Sandy Searcy, Marcus Debro, Mark Deal, Lance Ringlert, Nick Jenkinson, Ralph Siebold, Roy Stecker, Jeremy Price, Alan Dunn, Kay Fields, who did an incredible job with ticketing, and Dustin Carver. So thank you guys very much for all the work you put in. I think we have over 250 here tonight. At least that was the plan, somewhere between 250 and 270. So at this time, I'd love to have Lynn Hauser come to the stage for the invocation. Thanks, Lynn.
Good evening, and please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for this joyous celebration tonight. The 15th year we have been able to bring together so many members of our community to honor another class entering our hallowed hall. This would not be possible without your many blessings. At the same time, we come to you with heavy hearts as we have lost 3 members of our Hall of Fame family since the last time we broke bread together. Coach John Malcolm Holmes, class of 2015, Dr. Brad Bomba from the class of 2017, and within the last week, the legendary Bob Hamill from the class of 2015. The Hall of Fame might not have gotten off the ground had it not been for Hamill and a dozen other charter board members who launched it in 2009. We thank you for leaders like Bob, as well as Coach Holmes and Dr. Bomba. Please welcome them into your kingdom. We thank you for the support of so many sponsors and donors who have sustained us over the years. We thank you for the board members who have worked tirelessly to ensure that the Hall of Fame becomes an annual showcase in Monroe County. We thank you for the bottomless pool of outstanding athletes who give us one worthy class after another, making our little county a giant in Indiana athletics. We thank you for our student athletes who show us the promise of tomorrow. And lastly, we thank you for the wonderful meal we are about to share and the fellowship. O Heavenly Father, how great thou art. Amen.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, now just follow the instructions of the Convention Center staff as they'll be releasing the tables, and enjoy your meal, and I will be back up around 7:15 or 7:20 to kick off the ceremony. So hey, enjoy your meal, and we'll be back in just a little while. Okay, hello again. Welcome again to the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Continue to eat. The restrooms, of course, I think most people know where those are. When you are getting ready to be announced as an inductee, you and your chaperone will go to the back of the room as the speaker's speaking, and then you'll be ready to approach the stage. All right, let's talk about a couple quick things. The first thing I want to do is thank our sponsors, because without them, it would be really difficult to put on such an outstanding event. My company, Comprehensive Financial, have been involved since the very first year. This is our 15th year. So we took on the title sponsorship this year, and with the wonderful advisors from my office, the wonderful staff we have, we're very grateful to be part of this. We have presenting sponsors, Carrie Curry and the Curry Auto Center, for over 100 years serving and giving to our community. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you very much. Eric Powell, I saw Eric over here, and the Funeral Chapel. I have personally seen the compassion that Eric and his staff have to walk people through the most difficult times, so thank you, Eric, for that. Old National Bank, President Scott Shishman and his team, they have the heart, the culture, the DNA to have a strong relationship with you and our community. So let them be your bank like they are mine as well. We have a lot of contributing sponsors. We have Marquis Stage and Rental. They've been here since the beginning as well, making this place look awesome. The contributing sponsors, CFC Properties, Simtra, Midwest Color Printing, Long Family Eye Care, the IU Credit Union, Photo Line Picture Studio, Service Master, the Herald Times, Monroe Convention Center, Bunger and Robertson, Steve's Roofing, and Blackwell Homes. Please check out our website. It's a great website. You can see all these great sponsors, and please support them like they support the Hall. So let's talk about the scholarship winners briefly. Each year we give a $1,000 scholarship to a male and female athlete from our 3 public high schools in Monroe County. This year's ceremony was held on June 2nd, and we honored these student athletes: Sophie Garcia, Jay Stewart, Grace Stringer, Dave Kovac, Erica Dehart, and Jackson Klinger. And we, I think, may have one in the house tonight. I'm not sure. But if we do, I think it might be Sophie Garcia. Is Sophie here by chance? There she is. Thank you, Sophie. But Sophie was an outstanding gymnast, a 4-time state qualifier, 4-time HT Gymnast of the Year, and she's going to go to Big Blue, right? Michigan. Stewart was a record-setting swimmer, winning a state title in the 50-meter freestyle. He'll attend the University of Illinois, Chicago. Stinger was a 4-time letter winner in cross-country and track. She will attend Indiana University. Kovacs is also an IU bound on the swimming scholarship after a career in which he won 11 state medals, including 2 golds at this year's meet. He's an HT 4-time Swimmer of the Year. Dehart broke new ground at Edgewood by finishing 3rd in the girls wrestling sectional and qualifying for the regional in the first year of the IHSAA sanctioned girls sport. She'll also attend Hiram College in Ohio. Klinger excelled in distance running, helped Edgewood cross-country team reach the state finals for the first time in 20 years. At state, he finished 42nd or 41st. He also qualified for the state in the 3,200 track. He will attend IU. How about a good round of applause for these scholarship winners? About a month ago, it was suggested that our scholarships bear the name of somebody who really championed the cause of the student athlete. Well, one we had right here on our board, the first 10 years, he was mentioned earlier, no other than Bob Hamill. In the very beginning, it was Bob, as a charter board member of the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame in 2009, who came up with the wording, what scholarships represent, which is where the best athletes intersect with the best in academics. Although Bob has now passed, his name will now forever be attached to our scholarship award, which is now known as the Bob Hamill Monroe County Hall of Fame Scholarship. I'm pretty... So thank you again to all the sponsors who make this possible. And not only do these student athletes get a monetary award, but they also become forever enshrined on the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame website. I was talking to Ronnie earlier. He's our very first scholar athlete to now be inducted into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. How about that? That's pretty cool. Since 2011, we've given out almost $80,000 to 93 scholar athletes. Maybe in the next week or two, if we have your email, we may reach out and say, hey, if you'd like to become a friend of the Hall and it's in your heart to do so to help us expand the scholarship program, look for that in your email sometime in the next week. Before I bring up Mark Deal as our MC for the evening, I'd like to recognize the former inductees that are here tonight. If I can find my list here, here we go. And these are former inductees to the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. If you don't mind standing, from our charter class in 2011, Dave Voles. In 2022, Coach J.R. Holmes. 2013, Missy Ringler. From our 2014 class, George Finley and Jimmy Cornwell. From 2015, Charlie Worthen. In 2016, Marshall Goss. 2017, Ralph Seabolt. In 2018, Will Fleming, Mark Smith, and George Fielding. In 2019, Mike O'Donnell, Roy Steckard, and Marcus Debrow. In 2021, Rusty Fischel and Kent DeFord. In 2022, we had Ike Martin, Jim Jackson, Greer Warner, and Bob Jones, well represented. In 2023, Dan Burton and Mick Rinheisen. And in 2024, Bill Atkinson. Thank you, guys. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for attending. Lastly, we say this every year, but I believe without a doubt that Monroe County has produced more elite athletes, certainly per capita, than anywhere else in the country. We have 8 Olympians that have made it to the highest level of the sport. We have professional athletes that have played in Super Bowls, people that have multiple state champions. It's really unbelievable. Thanks to Bloomington High School and High School South and then North, there are more individual state wrestling champions than anywhere else in the state by far. This year we had 3 county athletes named to the Indiana Track Field Hall of Fame, the Voles brothers, Drew and Deacon, sons of our 2011 Monroe County Sports Hall of Famer Dave Voles, Sarah Fields, I'm going to mess this one up, Hamadovic, something like that, who went into the Monroe County Hall of Fame last year, and then also earlier this year, 2013 inductee Jared Jeffries was named to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame's Silver Anniversary team. So we have a storied atmosphere here in Monroe County. So with that, I'm going to bring up Mark Deal, the Master of Ceremonies. So let's have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you, David, and thank you for all you do as a president of the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. He does an amazing job. You have no idea how hard he works and everything he does. So let's give David a huge round of applause. Congratulations to all of our 2025 Hall of Fame inductees this evening, and also welcome back to all of our Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame members. It's always good to see our current Hall of Fame members welcome the new class into the Hall of Fame. And speaking of Hall of Famers, I have to mention that 2 of them are still getting it done at a high level. Missy Ringler won her 11th Women's City Golf Championship this month, and Ike Martin won his 13th City Golf Championship this month. Congratulations to you both. For the first time this year, the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame added a new category with up to 2 pioneers per year who could be included into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. A pioneer was defined as someone who competed more than 75 years ago. This year would mean that it is anyone before the year of 1950. And the reason we did this, and Kit Klingelhofer, I think, said it best, if we had a Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame in, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, some of these athletes would have been no doubters, okay? The recency bias kind of lets some of those athletes get passed to the side. So we thought this was a great way to honor athletes that should be in this Hall of Fame, and we've got 2 of them that are entering the class this evening. Our first pioneer member for 2025, Bob Snoddy, University High School, 1947 track and field. The Univi's only state track champion, won both the 120-yard hurdles, yes, I said yard, and 220-yard hurdles at the 1947 state track meet. His 120-yard hurdles time of 14.7 was a record that lasted until 1952, and his 22.5 time in the 220 hurdles was only broken by 4 individuals. His senior year best of 14.2 stood for 16 years as the all-time Indiana high school record. He attended the University of Georgia and returned to Bloomington to manage the family's construction business and development of several residential communities. He also established a nationally known Tennessee walking horse stable. He was inducted into the Indiana Track and Field and Cross Country Hall of Fame in 2014, and he passed away at age 86 in November of 2014. Escorted by Monroe County Hall of Famer and former University High School star Rusty Fischel, representing Bob Snoddy is his son, Rob Snoddy. Yep. Congratulations to you, Rob, and to your father. We next move to the coaches category. And our first coach is Wayne Nichols. University High School and North football and track and field. An Arkansas native who moved to Mishawaka, where he excelled in football and track. He played football at Indiana University for Coach Phil Dickens. He served in the Army's 82nd Airborne during the Vietnam War. Thank you for that, Coach Nichols. He began his coaching career at Griffith High School before moving to Bloomington. At age 26, he was named the head football coach at University High School, and he was the first head coach at North when the school opened in 1972. He went 52-36 in 9 years at North, and his .591 win percentage still is the best in program history. He coached football at North from 1982 to 1984. He was a physical education teacher for 58 years and worked in every school in Monroe County at some point. In track and field, he specialized in coaching the throwers, establishing a legacy in this county along with fellow coaches Bob Whitlow and Jerry England. He trained some of the county's all-time best, Sarah Fields, Rachel Deloney, Elaine Walls, Gabe Hulls, Michaela Hulls, Haley Lucas, and Will Fleming, who called him a force of nature. He was married to his wife Janet of 59 years before he passed in 2022. Escorted by one of his players, North Hall of Famer Mark Smith, and representing Coach Nichols tonight are his wife Janet and one of his first players at University High School, Gene Brewer. Hall of Famer Wayne Nichols.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mark Deal. Thank you to the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Mrs. Nichols, for the privilege of speaking about Coach Nichols. And special thanks to all the Coach Nichols supporters from across the area. Your voices helped make this happen. This is an important milestone for all those who love Coach Nichols. My remarks come from the letters of support that his athletes sent to this Hall of Fame, and from newspaper articles from the Herald Times and from my own memories. Coach Wayne Nichols was the kind of teacher and coach who would arrive early and stay late. He'd give up his weekends and summers too, unloading buckets full of throwing equipment at local practice fields. He might be working with a future state medalist or a college athlete or a child in need of a boost of confidence that athletics could provide. Once they got past his commanding physical presence, they would soon find that he was the most caring of souls. His time was their time, cost-free. His passion to lift others was a product of his humble beginnings in Arkansas. His family made its living moving from place to harvest crops. When he was 9, his family settled down in Mishawaka. Wayne worked hard and excelled as a shot putter and a fullback. He was recruited to play football for IU, where he lettered in 1964. But a family issue sent him home, where he was drafted into the Army during the Vietnam War. It was during his time in the Army when he met Janet, the woman of his dreams, who would be his wife for 59 years. After completing his Army tour, he returned to Indiana to begin his coaching career. In 1967, he was hired at University High School as head coach for football and wrestling. 5 years later, he was named the first head football coach at Bloomington North. His winning percentage at North from 1972 to 1980 remains the best in program history. After his time at North, Wayne accepted a coaching position on Lee Corso's staff at IU. He continued in that capacity with coaches Sam Weich and Bill Mallory. After decades of coaching football, he turned his efforts to his next favorite sport, throwing. He offered his services to young people from anywhere in the area. As an elementary PE teacher, he taught at every single elementary school in the corporation. He met lots of young people. The list of names of athletes that he worked with at some point includes some of the area's all-time throwers. North throws coach Sarah Hamidovic remembers Coach Nichols' influence from early in her life. In the early days of North High School, Sarah's mother, Kay Fields, had served as a football manager for Coach Nichols. A decade later, he was helping Sarah's parents build their house when he noticed 5-year-old Sarah running around. He asked her if she wanted to try throwing discus. She did, so they started working together. Sarah went on to win the state title in discus in 2000, then attend college at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Coach Hamidovic said, "Had he never seen me, I might have played another sport. He legitimately shaped my life. His impact is growing through all of us. The only way I know how to coach is how he coached me." Hadley Lucas won 5 Indiana high school state titles and 9 national titles. Hadley wrote, "I can't even imagine how different my life would be if Coach Nichols hadn't been a part of it. I can confidently say that none of those achievements that have led to incredible opportunities would have been possible without years of guidance from Coach Nichols." Lastly, here's one of my personal coach memories. When I was 15, I met Coach. I wrestled for him for 2 years. We've been good friends ever since. 20 years into our friendship, my oldest son, Gino, won a state wrestling title at North. Sitting in the seat next to mine for those state finals matches at Market Square Arena was Coach Nichols. That was perfect for me, watching my favorite wrestler and cheering with my favorite coach. 13 years later, Gino was diagnosed with an aggressive terminal brain tumor. When he was forced to move back home for hospice care for his remaining weeks, Coach Nichols was soon at our door with his strength, his empathy, and his big heart, and his tools and his boards to build wheelchair ramps in our home to help us move Gino as needed. His generosity had no limits. In closing, I wish to offer my admiration to Mrs. Nichols for her support and dedication to Wayne's coaching mission. You are the one who made his good works possible, and I heard him say that many times. When you were an amazing team. 4 of the 6 Nichols children are with us tonight. Eric and Rachel could not attend, but send their gratitude to all who made this happen. I invite Mrs. Janet Nichols and Maureen and Ryan and Stephanie and Sam to please stand. So that we may thank you with our applause. Thanks to all of you for sharing your father with all of us. Hall of Fame now becomes part of your family story.
Oh, we need a picture.
We got a picture.
Oh, wait a minute. You're right here. Here, there we go.
Mark will help you down the stairs. My teammate Mark Smith still getting it done for Coach Nichols there. All right. Congratulations, Janet and the Nichols family. When we get, if the inductees, when they get back, if they please stay at the back till I get through the whole introduction. That way we can hear the whole introduction without the applause set. So if you please don't come forward until the entire introduction is done. We chose this class last fall, and probably in November, sometime last fall, I think we pretty much had this class buttoned down. And it's interesting. That was in November, and we had no idea what was going to happen in sports in Monroe County. And this night is kind of a celebration of track and field for many of these individuals. How about this past year, in 2024-2025 school year in Monroe County in track and field and cross country? South girls cross country finished 9th in the state finals. North boys cross country won the state championship. South girls track and field finished 3rd in the state finals. North boys track and field finished 2nd in the state finals. Our schools are not Carmel or Center Grove or Noblesville or any of those big schools, okay? You could combine them and we'd have that. In track and field, cross country, that's a number sport. That's a heck of a job by Monroe County track and field for our 2 schools in this town. And that's a hell of a year. And congratulations to that. Our next inductee had a whole heck of a lot to do with that success. Coach Larry Williams, South, cross country and track and field. A North grad who ran high school track for Coach John McNichols. After attending Indiana University, he entered coaching in 1983 as an assistant to Tom Alwine at South. Started as a volunteer head coach for the fledgling girls cross-country teams and worked his way into the boys track and field and cross-country programs. Coached 12 state champions in track and field and 73 state medalists, while winning 19 sectionals, 11 regionals, and 7 top 10 finishes in the state finals. His cross-country teams have won 9 sectionals, 7 regionals, 5 semi-states, and 5 top 10 finishes in the state. Larry was inducted into the Indiana Association of Track and Cross-Country Coaches Hall of Fame in 2022. Besides John McNichols and Tom Alwine, other mentors and keys to his success over the years include North's Ralph Siebold and Charlie Worthen, South's David Voles, IU's Marshall Goss and Sam Bell, and fellow Indiana Track and Field Hall of Famer Tim Ritchie. Escorted by Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame member Dave Voles, 2025 inductee, Coach Larry Williams.
I'll begin with the notes that I wrote an hour after I got back from cross-country camp today, and putting up with the heat and the storms and on 35 young men. But first off, I want to thank the committee for the Hall of Fame. I'm very honored, very blessed to have the opportunity to be here, to be with this. It's great to see the history of Monroe County and being a longtime resident of it, watching many of these athletes perform even before myself, things like that. It's just a great honor. I thought I was going to be scared coming up here to speak, and I am. But when I saw Mark Smith walk up here, it brought real fear to me. Doing bull in the ring drills with him under Wayne Nichols will be something that will be etched in my mind and in my back forever. So I want to thank you for that, Mark. No. I do want to congratulate all the other inductees that are going in with this class. And again, I feel very honored to be with it. And who knew, back when I was a junior in high school, ready to give up on track and field at Bloomington North, and a new regiment came in, and John McNichols and Ralph Siebold and Charlie Worthen came into Bloomington North, and John McNichols kept after me, and a sport that I was going to give up on. And then all of a sudden, he convinced me that running the 400 or 440 at the time, rather than the mile, seemed better. And I was like, yeah, 1 lap versus 4, I'm in. And I use that to my athletes all the time. And when we talk about trying to get out of things or which way you're going, or maybe we need to find out where you need to be best. But with John McNichols, after I graduated from Bloomington North High School, he invited me back to help be a volunteer coach at Bloomington North as my first 2 years at Indiana University. And then Marshall Goss, another force, track and field in Bloomington, was moving up from Bloomington South to Indiana University. And John said, why don't you see if you can get a job down there that you can be paid for? And I did so, and I coached under or with Tom Alwine for a couple of years. And after that, I became the boys cross-country and track coach, head coach, and I began my 42nd year in doing so at this time. I've truly been blessed to coach in a community, and that community was mentioned, as Mark mentioned, with the three I said, and Marshall Goss and Sam Bell, Dave Voles, and a buddy of mine, Tim Ritchie. A lot of great resources here in our community, plus the fact that there's a great love and support and passion for those sports. And I think that probably a lot of that goes back to Sam Bell, and then also Marshall, and then when John came along there with Ralph and Charlie. I'm so thankful, though, for so many of the people who have helped me and guided me over these years, because I had a little bit of distance background, 400 background from Ralph to begin with, and then all of a sudden I'm thrusted into a place where I have a young man who went on to win the state in the pole vault, and so I was leaning on people like Marshall and a lot on Dave to help me out. Back in those days, you carried around these big cameras. You didn't have phones as some of you have right now in order to videotape, and I was spending a lot of hours in IU's offices or at Volz's apartment even, and watching those. But John McNichols was a big key to all this, and I should say the late John McNichols, as we lost him a few years back. Ralph Seabolt has been a great mentor to me throughout the years and a great friend over those years. He's advised me in a lot of ways. He's scolded me a few times, but he got me started with things like the State Coaches Association and began the network for me. And I really appreciate that, Ralph, for all you've done there. Marshall, as I said, was always on hand. I can remember one time he was trying to show me a drill for pole vault, and he actually put me on the ground and quickly, and then he told me to get into a certain position and things like that. So, but those stand with me, the fact that he would share his knowledge with me continually, and I appreciate that. Charlie, my teams just kind of have to chase yours at times right now. So even though his was state champion, we're looking to get back to the state this year. So hopefully we can do that to keep the tradition going. Also want to thank friends like Dave and Marcy Voles over here. Appreciate them being here. As I said, Dave's been a real key and helped me, and I can remember had a young man got 5th in the state this year in the pole vault, and I was sending a few videos to Dave, and I'm like, I'm stuck. What are we doing here? What's going on? And he's always been very quick to come back with some thoughts on it and everything, and I much appreciate that. Marcy may not know this or understand this, but she really saved me, and that's because of meet management. And when computers came into the world, it really confused me. And so she helped me learn what's called high tech and a lot of other things like that, and how to put things in to the computer, and I appreciate that. And the fact that you guys sent 3 wonderful sons to do great things for us at South is awesome. So, in fact, speaking of that, if anybody that ran or were part of our program, would you please stand up right now? Any past athletes, would you please stand up? Thank you, because it's because of you that I have this honor of being recognized. It's because of the athletes and the time and the passion they put into it. That's more important than anything else. And the next level on that would be my assistant coaches over the years. Head coaches get a lot of credit, but a lot of it comes from the assistant coaches. I had to coach throws 1 year, and that gentleman got 2nd in the state. But Gabe Hull back here and a number of our throwers, I didn't necessarily. Pole vaulters, I just made sure, with the Voles boys, I just made sure the poles got on the bus or they purchased. And our funny story to that, Marcy said I have to throw one funny in there, and that is the fact that we forgot the poles one time. They were sitting on the curb. We got to Columbus East. Voles has had to pick them up to bring them in. So it goes from there. So, but I appreciate all those people, all the things that they've done to put me where I am at this time. I'd also like to thank the administration. And I go back to Gary Druckmiller and the fact that he hired me as the principal at that time, hired me at Bloomington South, took a chance on a young person. And now Mark Fletcher is our principal at this time, very supportive. And Mr. J.R. Holmes over there, our athletic director, sometimes he's probably pleased with me, other times he shuts the door before I get to there. But I appreciate his support through all the years. People are like, well, he's the basketball coach. I said, no, he really is invested in all of our sports, and he definitely has been for cross country and track, and appreciate that from him. And then my family, and I'm probably over 5 minutes, but my sister Judy over here, my sisters were very key for my wife and I to continue to coach as our kids were born and raised, and we're talking about child care or whatever, and Judy was kind of our child care for the kids since she was at the same elementary school that they were at, and they would go spend an hour, 2 hours with her after school. She got the library in order for the next day, and then she'd drop the kids off to us. But they were just talking about the ice cream and everything they had at that time. So very much appreciate that. We wouldn't have been able to do what we have done. And then my children, Anthony and Mackenzie and her husband Errol, who are back here tonight. This word gets tough. But anyway, I appreciate their sacrifice, because obviously we were giving to other kids. And the fact that they were patient and they were a part of it as much as we can make them a part of it. And the real blessing was the fact that I got to coach both of them, Anthony running distance and Mackenzie pole vaulting. And that'll take forever. And then last, but actually first, and that's Missy. My wife, Missy. And ever since Missy came to Bloomington, we got married, she's been a coach at Bloomington South, and she herself has done great things. But as I said, the assistant coaches don't always get that recognition. And she's done some great things. And she's stepped away now from track after this spring to take a little life a little bit easier and help out family and such. And but I'm very proud of her and love her very much. But she still has to listen to me talk about workouts and lineups and things like that and get a head shake, yes, or seriously, you just do it, okay? So, but I appreciate that from her. And I really do thank the committee, and I'm very honored to be a part of this Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Moving on to our contributors. First up, Jim Murphy, four-sport athlete at Eastern Green, became a longtime community leader in Bloomington. The past president of CFC, a company that emphasizes restoration and development of downtown Bloomington, as well as preserving historic buildings. Past president of the YMCA Board of Directors, the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation, and Downtown Bloomington, Inc., board member of the Bloomington Hospital Foundation, Chamber of Commerce, Banneker Center, Monon Rail Preservation Corp., Hoosier Amateur Sports Corporation, Historic Landmarks Foundation, Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. As Bloomington Parks and Board Commissioner, helped add 9 holes to Cascades Golf Course and the development of Switchyard Park. Professional honors include Chamber of Commerce Leadership Award, Sam Walton Business Leadership Award, Kentucky Colonels, Downtown Bloomington Board Member of the Year. Athletically at Eastern Green High School, he averaged a double-double in basketball, 17 points and 13 rebounds, setting single-game records of 41 points and 29 rebounds. MVP of their track team, setting a Greene County record in the discus. And last year was inducted in the Eastern Green Hall of Fame in 2025. He played basketball and baseball at Southern University Junior College, State Junior College, and Missouri Valley College. Continued to play amateur sports here in Bloomington, which is so key in this town. Amateur sports is so big. Was elected into the Indiana Softball Hall of Fame in 2006. Played on 5 state softball championships and 2 national runner-ups. His 4 home runs, including a walk-off in the championship game, allowed the Kreider construction team become the first Bloomington team to win the prestigious BIT softball tournament, a tournament that drew the best softball teams all over the country to Bloomington each summer. I played in that BIT a few times. That was a big deal here in town back in the 70s and 80s. I played in that even when I came down from Crawfordsville. It's a heck of a thing. Jim served as Indiana Vice President of USA and ASA softball. Escorted by Hall of Famer Mick Reneisen, a man who has done so much for this community, both on and off the field. 2025 inductee, Jim Murphy.
Mark advised me to write this down so I don't go over my time limit. All the talks I've ever given, I've never looked at notes before. So bear with me if I don't make eye contact with you, because that's the kind of person I am. But I will say, of all my experiences, the one thing that I know is about people, it's about family, and it's about friends. I'm humbled and appreciate to have been nominated and selected into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. It's an honor to be inducted with the 2025 class of such an extraordinary group of people, and also be included with the current members alongside my father-in-law, Russell Minette, who was inducted in 2019. We may be the first father-in-law, son-in-law duo. Congratulations to the other 2025 inductees. This experience has brought awesome memories back to me, so many that I had to cut my speech down about 5 or 6 different times. My goal after college was to be a biology coach, or a biology teacher, and a coach. But path took me another direction, and I ended up in the industry of real estate and development. But I always felt teaching was a part of me. So I often try to help people out. And my family knows this because I'm often trying to help them out. A few weeks ago, after church, on our way home, just out of the blue, our grandson, Drake, said to me, "Papa, don't take this the wrong way. You're very wise, but it's frustrating how you're always right about everything. And often correcting us, it's a little annoying." Well, I don't want to be annoying, but I do want to be helpful. And I was lucky enough to work for Bill Cook and the Cook organization, and he encouraged us to be involved in the community, and I took that to heart. And that allowed me to give back. I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. The one thing that I realize of everything is the impact of the end users, or of those that benefited from our efforts. A successful downtown, teams from all over the country playing at the softball fields here in Bloomington, Indiana. People of all ages golfing at the Ridge Course at Cascades. Helping families and children in need at the YMCA through the scholarship program. Families walking on the Beeline, or the Rails to Trails, or the Monon Rail between Bloomington and Ellisville. The Canopy of Lights. Seeing the children smile, and seeing the young adults having wonderful experiences. Sorry, I just got a glimpse of my brother-in-law, and I'll tell you a story about that momentarily. But when these people in groups was in town, I would often intentionally talk to them. They didn't know who I was, but I would just have a conversation to see what type of an experience they was having here in Bloomington, Indiana, where it was at the ballpark or walking the trails. And it was always such a wonderful experience that they came to Bloomington, stayed in these hotels, ate at great restaurants, and were having the time of their life. And again, that's what it's all about. And it comes full circle here at the convention center. I was involved with this development of this convention center literally from day one. And this convention center has hosted many events such as this that's sports related over the years. But what also took place here almost 11 years ago was my daughter and Trent's wedding right here in this room. How cool is that? So you do things to help other people, and sometimes it comes back to you. However, if it were not for sports, I would not be where I am today. When I was in the 7th grade, I knew at that time I wanted to be a better athlete. So I ordered the Charles Atlas training program. Raise up hands. Anybody hear of Charles Atlas? A few of us seniors have heard of Charles Atlas. Well, at the beginning of summer, I was known as Jamie. By the end of summer, I was Jim, because I worked tirelessly to develop myself, to become a better athlete. But it would not have been for an opportunity to go to college on scholarship, I would not have gone, because my family just could not afford it. I was the first one in my family to attend college. One of 8 kids, 10 mouths to feed. But since then, a couple or 3 others have attended college post-high school. I'm very proud of them. I wish I had time to thank everyone personally. I see so many faces here tonight that I played ball with or ball against. And every one of you have done so much to help not only me, but others that you've never met before. So much of what we do in our lives, we impact the lives of others. I think my teammates at every level, from Little League on through college and amateur sports. When I was younger, my mom would always tell me, son, slow down and smell the roses, because I was always very active. Well, I lost my mom, brother-in-law, and sister in an automobile accident in 1990. I wish my mom was here today, because I think she'd be really proud. To my brother-in-law, Mark Manette, who's here today, battling a very serious illness. Mark, you're my Hall of Famer. To my wife, Kathy, and all my kids, and my grandkids that are here, you guys, this is the quietest you've ever been. This is awesome. Good job. How about that? You know, in the early years, I played a lot of softball, traveled a lot, all over the country, very, very busy raising 3 kids. And I decided it was time to retire. And early each year, we would call each other and say, hey, you ready to get out and start throwing and hitting? And I had that conversation. I hung up the phone, and my wife said, Kathy, said, what did you just do? I said, well, I just retired from softball. She said, you can't make that decision without talking to me. That's our family and our social life. You call him back right now and tell him you're playing. And I did for 15 more years after that. I played long enough for our son Aaron, and I played together. That was really cool. That was really cool, going on the ball field with your son. I was dance dad to Beth, practices and dancing palms. And I coached Megan's basketball teams. A lot of her teammates call me coach to this day. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, Megan. Look at the big party I threw to you here. Happy birthday. But family and the love of family is immeasurable. Friendships are immeasurable. And know that you touch people that you've never met before. And they will remember you because of it, and they will be better because of it. Kathy, you've touched me more than you know, and you're my rock. Thank you so very much. I love you. Again, thanks to the board for this honor. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Our next contributor, Shelby Wilson, an Oklahoma native who became a great ambassador for wrestling and for community service in Monroe County for over 40 years. NCAA wrestling champion at Oklahoma State at 147 pounds. gold medalist in freestyle wrestling at the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome. Came to Bloomington in the early 1980s and helped establish the top of the world sports camp with fellow 1960 Olympic wrestling champion Doug Blubaugh. Coached Owen Valley Wrestling with Doug Jones from 1985 to 2005. Still residing in Monroe County and still serving the community as director of the Stronghold Youth Foundation Outreach and Service, a Christian ministry that helps people in need, especially international students. A member of the U.S. Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame, the Oklahoma Athletic Hall of Fame, the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Honor, and the Helms Athletic Foundation Hall of Fame. That ain't nothing compared to the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. Escorted by his friend George Finley, Hall of Fame member, 2025 inductee, Shelby Wilson.
Well, I finally made it. They put all those other Hall of Fames, but you know, I'll tell you, this is truly an honor. This is about the most prestigious county I think I've ever been involved in. So many great athletes who have gone through your system here in this county. It almost makes me wish I grew up here. But I'm a transplanted Okie and can't get away from my roots. And somebody asked me, where are you from? I said, well, I'm an Okie. You see a live Okie right here. But I guess I have to call myself a Hoosier now. I've been here over 40 years, so I'll join you. But I just want to thank the committee. I want to thank all those who were involved in giving me this honor. It's truly an honor to be among the people who are involved and have been involved in the athletics of this county. And you know, one thing I do want to correct. When you read in your program there, that I was a national champion at 147 pounds. I have to correct that. That is not true. I was never a state champion, and I was never a national champion. I always had to lose one match a year. My coaches always seemed to want me at a lower weight class, so I would go down, suck my you-know-what out, and then I would end up one match. 1960, I decided I would choose my own fate. I'm a Christian. I prayed about it, and the answer was go at 147 and don't look back. First time in my entire life, I wrestled at the weight class that I wanted to. Seems like it was a good decision. My coach told me when I was in high school, if you had to wrestle, you'd have gone through this whole school system, and nobody would have known your name. I was that kind of a person. I was a farm kid, never heard of wrestling my whole life till the 7th grade, went out for wrestling, liked it, stayed with it, but I was just a farm kid. When it was over, I'd go home, do my chores, ride the tractor in the summer. We didn't have any, camps or anything. But wrestling changed me and gave me an identity that those of you here who have been in athletics know whatever you've done, it gave you an identity that you did not have before. And with me, that was life. I had no identity. I was just a guy that came and went. So I owe wrestling so much that it's beyond belief of how it's benefited me. The idea of being a hero in athletics offsets me somewhat, because the only hero I think we as athletes should be, and that is to kids, that somebody that they can look up to that they know is going to do the right thing. But as far as being a real hero, I think that's left up to the guys who save somebody's life, give their lives for us, but not for athletes. We're heroes to children, which is good, but not in reality. The reality of life is not athletics. We're entertainment. We're entertainment for people. While we're doing it, it seems like life, and we give it our all, and we do all sorts of things. I happen to win a gold medal. But when you put it in reality, it's a contest that somebody started a long time ago, and it's continued, and it is very prestigious. And that's about it. When it's over, and then what happens? We enter into real life, and that's where it is. I'm thankful that at 88, I just now get into a Hall of Fame like this, because I've got so much life behind me. I've got my daughter here, my wife here, my son-in-law, my grandson, guys who are here who are guys I coached at Owen Valley, coaches that I know. I can't describe the reality that I have experienced after wrestling. I was 23 years old, and my career stopped. 11 years, that was part of it. That was 11 years. I'm 88. If I think wrestling was the the big thing in my life, the only thing I can do after that is share it with kids, share it with other people. To me, that is what life is. Totally. It's not just competing. Competing is such a short time, and we go for it, and we become champs or whatever. But in reality, we're entertainment, and that's it. In our own mind, we may be a legend, but no more. You know, that's all. And I just thank my wife of 62 years for hanging around with me for that long, because it's taken a little courage on her part. I can tell you that. But Gretchen, would you stand, please? I would like my wife to stand. I owe her a lot. She never saw me wrestle, but she's supported me in all my crazy endeavors and all my doings and goings and beings, and it's taken a lot. It's taken a toll, I know, and I appreciate her. Appreciate my 3 daughters, my grandson who's here. It's a great honor to have them here, and I would like to close, so I want to try to stay within my allotted time here, but I'd like to close with a quote, kind of an excerpt that I've taken, which kind of gives a little idea of who I might be and what I believe and how I live life. As I said, I'm a Christian, and I have been since I was 18. And I take this, and I wrote it down, I'm going to read it off to you. It's found, if you want to look it up sometime, it's found in the 12th chapter of Romans. It's not verbatim, because I took it a little bit, moved it around. But Here's what it says. Let your love be sincere. Share with those in need. Practice hospitality. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and mourn with those who mourn. I've had that experience this week with a friend of mine, truly. If you ever have a friend of yours or anyone who's in deep mourning, ask God to give you what they feel. Have you ever done that? Give you how they feel. That happened to me this week. And I certainly felt and was able to comfort this man in a deep, deep hurt. And I felt it. I felt it. God gave me that. Oh, I'll tell you. But in the end, it was a great burden. It says, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Be willing to associate with people that others might consider of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay evil for evil. Do what is right in the eyes of others, and if it is possible, as far as it depends upon you, live at peace with everyone. Thank you for inviting me into this fraternity. It's a big part of my life. Thank you.
Shelby, 88? 88. 88. Our next Pioneer inductee is part of another first for the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. For the first time ever, a father and a son are being inducted into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame in the same class. We have had a parent and a child inducted, but never in the same class until tonight. Our second Pioneer inductee for 2025 is Ted Fox, Bloomington High School, 1944, track and field. State pole vault champ in 1944 with a height of 12 feet 4 inches using a bamboo pole, a record that held up for 20 years, even after the advent of the fiberglass pole. Finished third in the state as a junior, enlisted in the U.S. Navy after graduation, and served in World War II. Thank you for his service, Lance. Enrolled at Indiana University after the war and set an IU freshman record. 3-time Indiana Big State champion in the pole vault, 1947, 48, and 49. Went on to win 3 letters at Indiana University and finished third in the Big Ten. In the 1949 Illinois Tech Relays, he set a personal record of 13:10, again using a bamboo pole. Graduated from IU in 3 years and took a teaching job at Bedford North Lawrence, where he coached track and field and cross country for 30 years. He coached the 1971 state cross country champ, Robin Shipman. He received his 50-year I-Man Award from IU in 1996. The father of IU All-American vaulter Lance Fox and grandfather of All-State vaulter Dane Fox. Moving on to the second part of our Fox Daily Double. Our first athlete, Lance Fox, South High School, 1976 track and field. Set South school pole vault record at 15:2. Sectional champion in 1976. state finalist. But unlike his dad, Lance did not use a bamboo pole. AAU Junior Olympics state meet runner-up, 1975. Two-time South Central Conference champion. Lettered 4 years at Indiana University, helping his team win 3 Big Ten championships. And I know there are several members of those Big Ten championship team members here today from IU. Two-time Big Ten pole vault champion. Placed 6 times in the Big Ten competition and a 5-time NCAA qualifier. Gained All-American status by finishing 3rd in the 1980 indoor track meet, despite losing 20 pounds due to mononucleosis earlier that season. Set a then IU Fieldhouse record of 17-1. His lifetime best of 17.5 indoors and 17.8.5 outdoors ranks 8th on IU's all-time list. Along with Dave Voles, the only Monroe County vaulters to make All-American, win 2 or more Big Ten titles, and set an IU record. A teacher and coach in MCC SC schools from 1989 to 2019. A lifelong Monroe County resident and part of 3 generations of champion pole vaulters, along with his father Ted and his son in 1944 and his son Dane, all-state in 2006. Volunteer assistant coach at Bloomington North from 2003 to 2006, where he coached 4 all-state vaulters. And has moonlighted as a stand-up comedian known as the man of many voices for his imitations. Escorted by Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame scholarship winner Sofia Garcia, and representing both his father, Ted Fox, and himself, Lance Fox.
That was supposed to be Dan Burton, but I lucked out, and I got Sophie Garcia, and she's a former student of mine. Beautiful young lady and a great gymnast. It's an honor to be here. It's probably a second honor, though. I was really honored when I got a call from local celebrity Joe Smith to congratulate me. Well, I'll tell you, by golly, congratulations on your induction into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. And now back to the Bloomington North Siders, taking on the Bloomington South Siders. I'm Joe Smith. But joking aside, the biggest honor for me was my dad coming in with me. And he was born in 1926, Gosport, Indiana. It was the 1940s. As you said, bamboo poles, sawdust, and sand. You had to land on your feet. And that was a little treacherous. And World War II was going on. In fact, when he won the state meet in 1944, it was just 2 weeks before the D-Day landing. And I know you all know George Taliaferro as an amazing football player, but he came to my dad's funeral, and I never knew this, but he competed against my dad in the pole vault at that state meet. And he said he just couldn't understand how that skinny blonde kid could jump so high. He went into the Navy. 1945, they sustained a kamikaze hit. 35 men were lost off the coast of Okinawa. But somehow he made it to IU, and as you said, he graduated in 3 years. And when he made that 13 feet 10 personal record, it was a good time to do it because he defeated Bob Richards, the 2-time gold medalist in the pole vault. And if you're as old as I am, you know him as the Wheaties man. Now, Richards he'd already received a bronze medal in the 48 Olympics. And he went on to win the gold in 52 and 56, and he did the decathlon at the same time, if you can imagine. He took a liking to my dad's bamboo pole. And he said, if you let me have your pole, I'll send you 2 just like it when I get back to New York. Well, my dad agreed. He never heard from Reverend Richards again. Like George Bush once said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't be fooled again. He went in the stone business for a while, and he got into his true love, teaching and coaching. He was even freshman football coach for a year, and they were undefeated. But track and cross country coach for over 30 years, he never had all the championship teams as a Goss or a Worthen or a Williams, but they were always competitive. He had a lot of state finalists, and he had some state champs like Robin Shipman in cross country in 71 and Lee Wildman in the discus in 1977. But the thing that struck me the most was at his funeral, and so many athletes came to pay their respects and told me what an impact he'd had on their lives, and he was a father figure to some as well. And it made me realize how important teaching and coaching is, because you leave a legacy behind long after you're gone. He obviously had an impact on me, had me out in the backyard when I was 9 or 10 with one of those bamboo poles and a little fishnet foam rubber pit. By the time I got to Bloomington South, I'm just glad I came before Dave Voles and not after, or I might not have had any records. I think you left me the Columbus relays. You tied that maybe at 15 feet. But that's okay, you know? Records are made to be broken, they say. And Dave had an amazing career. He was a fantastic pole vaulter, and I think he would have been a great decathlete as well. But in spite of his success, I always felt sorry for Dave. He couldn't do impressions. He tried once. As Donald Trump might say, it was a total disaster, that I could tell you. Or Joe Biden might say, true story, not a joke. Come on, man. But don't kid yourself. Dave had a wicked sense of humor. He was in the first class of this Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. But every year thereafter, until this year, he would send me an email message. It was always the same thing. Happy Passover. I'll tell you what, that wasn't very funny, Dave. You knew I wasn't Jewish. But as I said, records are made to be broken. Danny Burton broke Dave's high school record. Dave's boys broke his record. My son Dane even broke Danny's freshman-sophomore meet record, which is now the Ted Fox Invitational. And I found out that Danny and I, we had a sideline. So we had something more similar than just pole vaulting in show business. Along the way, I managed to open for George Carlin, Dionne Warwick, Tim Allen. But not to be outdone, Danny was the guest DJ at Taste of Bloomington 3 years in a row. I also was careful along the way not to step on the little people, like Charlie Worthen. Charlie's about this tall. No, I can kid Charlie because he's a great guy, and I got to coach with him for a few years when Dane was there, and he just won his second state cross-country championship. Isn't that amazing? And what's amazing to me about that is he won his first one in 1980 when I was on the IU track team, and he won his second one this last year when I was on Social Security. But anyway, I congratulate you and Larry Williams. You both have had outstanding careers. And Dane Fox, I guess Charlie and I didn't do too bad with you, or you wouldn't be on the Bloomington North Wall of Fame. I had Marshall Goss as my coach in high school. Now, Coach Goss was a great coach. You look up track coach in the dictionary, and there's Marshall Goss's picture. The only problem I ever had with him, he was just a little too laid back. Hey, let's go, guys. Hey, seriously. Hey, young man. Hey. He was intense, but he's had so many championship teams. I was only 17 my senior year and halfway through my freshman year in high school. So the defending state champ, Brian Kimball, was 19. 2 years made a bit of a difference back then. Took me a while to catch up to him in college, but we later became teammates and good friends. I still had some scholarship offers, Austin P and different schools, but I wanted to compete in the Big Ten. So I went to IU, and I'm so glad I did. As you said, we had 3 Big Ten championship teams, and my senior year we were 5th in the NCAA indoors, which was the best at that time in history. Sam Bell, Aubrey Dooley, Tom Pagani, all great coaches. And lo and behold, by my junior year, Coach Bell gave me the board portion of room and board, and my last semester of senior year, he threw in room and board. That was over 45 years ago. What's amazing to me is back then the world record was a foot or so higher than my best. Now it's 3 feet higher at 20 feet 7 by Mondo Duplantis. It just keeps evolving. I have a few people to thank, and then I'll head out of here. I have some friends that are here, people I've known for 50 years. Roger Stout, Jerry Carter, Nick McCammon, Randy Wilhite, and Brian Brozzi were on the track team with me. Great guys, you can't find any better. And Jerry and Randy drove a long way to get here. I appreciate that. My son Dane, wife Haley, thank you for your love and support. George Finley. George has been a great supporter of mine. George is not only a great golfer, great wrestler, but a great man. Rusty Fischel. Rusty drove all the way up here from Tennessee to see all of you. Now, Rusty went, I'll just say, above and beyond the call of duty in supporting me, and I'll never forget it. He's a high-caliber athlete, high-caliber person. My dad always said every dog has their day. I guess this is ours. And last but not least, my wife, Irene. She's the biggest winner tonight because she had ablation surgery on her heart a few weeks ago, and she's doing great. So, sorry, I got emotional there. And she's doing really great, and so I'm very thankful for that. And so I say to her, "Yo, Irene, we did it!" Thank you.
Congratulations, Lance, to you and your father. Quite an honor to have the first father and son in the same class. Our next inductee is an athlete, Andy Anderson, Edgewood High School, class of 2000, baseball and basketball. First team All-State, Indiana All-Star in baseball, Indiana Pitcher of the Year, led the state in strikeouts, 189, wins 13, and earned run average 0.75. Still holds the school record in career wins, 30. Single season wins, 13. Career innings pitched, 271. Single season innings pitched, 102 and a third. Career strikeouts, 466. Single season strikeouts, 189. Single game strikeout record with 22 in a 9-inning game. Second all-time in hits, 103. Had a career .420 batting average and was selected all conference as a junior and a senior. In basketball, Andy scored 691 career points, averaging 16.4 as a senior, shot .456 in three-pointers, and third all-time at Edgewood. Was selected in the all-conference team as a senior. Was a 4-year letter winner in both baseball and basketball. Went on to have a successful collegiate baseball career at Ball State, where he was a 4-year starter, earning 12 wins. His father, Tom Anderson, was a longtime area coach in baseball and basketball, coaching the Owen Valley girls basketball team to the 3A title game in 2009. Escorted by Hall of Famer, Monroe County Sports Hall of Famer Bob Jones, 2025 inductee Andy Anderson.
All right. Well, take one for the team tonight. I got to follow the comedian. So you're welcome, the ones that follow me. I want to first congratulate the other 11 inductees tonight. I want to give thanks to Lance Ringler and Lynn Hauser for helping me through this process of getting here tonight, and also the whole committee and board. I'd like to thank my basketball coaches, Jay Brown, Jeff Birch, and Brad Dickey. And then special thanks to Coach Bob Jones, Hall of Famer. Without him, may not be standing up here. I want to thank my family, my brother Kip, my mother-in-law Nan, my daughter Willa, son Asa, wife Hannah, and my lifelong coach, Dad. Without the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours spent at the fields and the courts with you, Dad, I definitely wouldn't be standing up here and be where I'm at today. So thank you. Also, I want to give a thank you to my mother that passed away this Christmas. I know she would be honored and more happy than anyone in this room to be here tonight. The good news is I got the call a week before Christmas, so she did get to know that I got accepted, and I know she's watching tonight. This is an honor that I'll never forget. We talked about the level of talent that's in this county, and I try to tell people all the time what I had to go against, specifically in basketball, with Holmes, your guys' teams, Bloomington North in 97 and 2000. It was unreal talent, what came out during that area, before, during, and after my time. You guys shaped how I became an athlete, whether you know it or not. The level of competitiveness that I had to step up just to be on the same floor. And then also, it drove me to work harder in baseball, because I saw that it was not going to be a very easy avenue when you're 14, 15 and getting dunked on. So thank you, guys. A few stories here, and then I will try to be quick. I want to also thank Rob Smith. He was an Edgewood alum. He got me into the taste of travel baseball back in 1997, the fall, my freshman year at Edgewood High School. He has been now, he's retired, but a longtime college baseball coach. But he took a team that he named Blue Storm, and it was Edgewood, Bloomington, a lot of Bloomington kids in Bedford. And my freshman fall, we go down and start playing national teams. And it was 18 and under, and I was 15. This is a story I'll never forget. My son Asa, hopefully you start listening to me a little bit more. This is one story you can't hold against me after this. I get thrown in a game. I was there more for the experience and learn. Obviously 15, just coming into high school, going against 18-year-olds. But he puts me in a game finally. 12 straight balls, I'm out of the game. That was one story that shaped my life and my sports career. And the next one was my freshman year that spring, playing for Coach Jones on the varsity. We have a bad outing, I believe, against Owen Valley. He gets mad, benches a few kids, shuffles some guys around, tells me I'm going to start my first varsity game. It's like, great, who we playing? Number 1 ranked Martinsville, 19-0. And we did not get their Sunday, we didn't get their weekday pitcher. We got their number one ace going D1. And so I start. They have 2 All-Americans on their team. Start out, double home run, down 2-0. We come back. I throw a complete game. We win 7-5. Hit my first career home run off that guy. That's a moment I'll never forget. I'm not sure if he trusted me in that game or was so mad at everyone else. But between the fall of not being able to compete at that level and then being able to compete, it really sent my career on a trajectory that led me going to play 4 years in college. Last memory I had, or not last memory, but one of my best memories was also my junior year. Terre Haute North came into town, highly touted, showed up about an hour and a half late, like usual. So we had to wait on them to warm up. And then we're getting beat 2-0. I'm pitching. We're getting shut out. They change pitchers in the 7th inning, bring in their number 1 guy going to Tennessee my junior year, and I was able to hit a walk-off under the lights to beat them. So that was fun because they came in laughing at us. They didn't care they were 2 hours late, and so we sent them home on a long bus ride. Lastly, again, I want to thank my family for being here. I get to enjoy and still be a huge part of sports with my daughter in soccer. I get to actually sit back. I don't know too much about soccer, so I get to sit back and be a parent. My son takes the brunt of me, but I still get to travel with him on his baseball team and then watch him in basketball. And hopefully you can be standing up here, something similar someday. So thank you all. This is an honor, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Andy. Our next inductee, Alex Guyton, North High School, 2008, basketball. Indiana All-Star, Hoosier Basketball Magazine All-Star, McDonald's All-American nominee. Alex collected 1,055 points, 737 rebounds, and 168 blocks during her career at North. She went on to play 124 games at Purdue, leading the Boilers in blocks and steals her junior year. Member of 3 Big Ten tournament championship teams at Purdue. Played professionally in Germany. Started her coaching career in 2013 as an assistant at Warren Central and at Carmel from 2014 to 2017. Entered the college coaching ranks in 2017 as an assistant at Eastern Illinois. She joined the Purdue staff as an assistant coach in 2020 and coached for 5 years at Purdue under Coach Sharon Versip and Coach Katie Geralds. I had the privilege to watch Alex play in high school because she was a teammate of my daughter, who was a little older, but I got to watch Alex, and I could see right away the ability in her and how much a promising future she had on the basketball court, and it was fun to watch you, Alex. Escorted by Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame member Marcus Debro, our latest inductee, 2025, Alex Guyton, Bloomington North.
Hello, everybody. I will try to make this short and sweet and try not to cry through the process as well. Great community ties here. As I got to reintroduce myself to the community, I've been up in that dangerous state or dangerous town up north in West Lafayette. But Mr. Deal, the Holmes family, the Murphy family, we had a lot of battles, me and Mr. Murphy's daughter, just everybody in the community that coming back and being able to see them, especially Mrs. Nichols. Her husband, I don't know if you remember, her husband taught me in shot put my freshman year when I competed in track, and then I was a terror to her when she was a substitute teacher for me in North. So hopefully she can forgive me for all the horrible memories I put her through. But again, I'd like to thank everybody here. I'd like to thank Marcus Debrell for nominating me and the committee for selecting me. It's a great honor to be here in front of my peers and my family. To my fellow inductees, former past and present, it's another, again, great opportunity to be here with all of you. Standing in a room with an amazing group of people and great tradition here in the Monroe County system. As a young athlete growing up in Bloomington, Indiana, I would have never imagined being so blessed to be in this opportunity. I have many memories that spread across this town, from the Sportsplex to the Hyper, from Tri-North to North High School. There are countless hours spent developing my craft as a basketball player and my character as a person. I played basketball because I loved it. I loved to practice, playing games, the bond that created between playing games and the bond that was created with countless teammates and coaches. I never knew the opportunities it would bring me and the people that I would meet. I just had a passion for it, and no matter what, I didn't want to quit. So it wouldn't be right if I didn't take the time to thank the sport and show my respect to the game. I appreciate basketball more than anything. It's allowed me so many opportunities to play overseas, to meet amazing people, people that have impacted my life forever. So thank you to the game of basketball. To my family that are here today, thank you, starting off with my mom. Thank you for introducing me to the game and giving me the drive to be better than I ever imagined. She pushed me every single day. Just a great mentor, great advisor for me. To my grandparents, my granny and pawpaw. Thank you for the amazing support day in and day out. For my grandmother teaching me the gift of the gab, being able to walk in any room and speak with anybody. To my grandfather, for the countless basketball talks where we sit in front of the TV and have countless debates on who's better, Purdue or IU. He's always been great for that. To my Uncle Brian and my Aunt Cheryl, thank you for being my biggest fans from Minnesota. To my Uncle Brian for every time you came in town for our hyper runs and our numerous hoop talks. I still remember when I beat you. To Melvin and Nancy, thank you for adopting me into your family. The countless 10 a.m. Sunday workouts that I dreaded at first but began to love. You always provided a life lesson along with an amazing workouts that I still carry on today, that I do when I work out my young individuals. I use a lot of the same incorporations that he did with me. Just an amazing family that's always been supportive for me in my career and my development as a person. To Coach Goddard and your wife, thank you for being an example for what it means to truly care about your players. I don't know if you guys know this, but he coached me for 3 years. He has 2 other players that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that man, I caused him more technicals and more grief than anybody he's ever coached. But I loved him to death. He loved us and showed us what it was truly like to play for somebody who cared about you more than just the game. To Coach Winland, who couldn't be here today, he had a family emergency. I want to thank you for believing in me as a young coach. You have been such a mentor to me, and I owe my success in this field of coaching to you. You set the tone to never be outworked and to do it for the right reasons, and I greatly appreciate that. I'm sorry he couldn't be here today, but know that him and his family are in my prayers. I would also like to thank those who are not here that played a big part in making this possible. Off the top of my head, I would love to thank Jennifer Forney. She was the first person to introduce me to Indiana basketball when I first started playing. My countless AAU coaches that I had, Janet Sutherland, who was my middle school coach, my assistant coach that worked with Coach Goddard, Kurt Simic, and everybody who had a touch in making this possible. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm truly grateful, and thank you for the committee, and thank you for everybody here. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Alex. John Holmes, South High School, 1999, basketball. 4-year varsity starter, 96 consecutive starts for his father, Hall of Fame and all-time winningest coach J.R. Holmes. Was Monroe County's all-time leading scorer upon graduation with 1,536 career points. He remains South's career leader in assists, 382, three-pointers, 237, and single-game three-pointers, 8, and free throw percentage, 89%. Two-time first-team All-State selection. 1999, Indiana Mr. Basketball, runner-up, and selected to the Indiana All-Star team. 1999, McDonald's All-American nominee and John Wooden Citizenship Award recipient. Bloomington South co-valedictorian, 4.0 GPA. Played at North Carolina, 1999 to 2003. Member of the 2000 North Carolina Tar Heels Final Four team. Team captain and ACC academic all ACC team as a senior. Played professionally in Europe for 2 seasons and in England and Denmark. Averaged 14.6 points and 6 assists for the Denmark club that finished second in their league. Selected to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame Silver Anniversary team last year in 2024. He's currently the associate head coach for men's basketball at Miami of Ohio. He has 20 years of college coaching experience with Division I stops at William & Mary, Elon, and Miami of Ohio. He's recognized nationally as one of the top mid-major assistant coaches in all of college basketball. It's only a matter of time before he gets a chance to have his own Division I program, and we all hope that is soon. Escorted by his father, Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame coach J.R. Holmes, welcome back home to the next inductee, John Holmes.
Good evening. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Like I said, you guys just witnessed Coach Holmes' first assist in his career. Before I start, I must say I don't think that it's a coincidence that the year that I get inducted is the year that they put a limit on these speeches. I definitely think the committee talked to my family members before inducting me this year. So despite my long-winded tendencies, I will do my very best here to keep my remarks brief. First of all, I want to thank everybody on the Hall of Fame committee. It's a tremendous honor, and I'm beyond grateful for the recognition. Bloomington has been the setting for so many great moments in my life, and I've been blown away by the organization, communication, and effort by everybody involved here tonight, putting together such a special event. So let's please give the committee a round of applause. Secondly, congratulations to all the other inductees. Monroe County, as some have already stated, has got an amazing tradition of sport excellence. And it's a privilege to be recognized alongside so many talented and successful individuals. So congratulations to everyone else here tonight as well. And most importantly for me, and certainly not lastly, but I want to thank my family. My wife Jennifer, my daughters Lily and Lola are here, my mom Martha, and my dad, obviously JR, you guys see him probably way too much. And my niece Charlotte is over there as well. So I want to thank them. I'm so blessed, like I truly am. I know that I wouldn't be receiving this honor tonight without their love, support, and sacrifice on a daily basis for so many years. So I love you all very much and appreciate you being here. Last week, as I was traveling for recruiting and preparing for tonight, trying to navigate this the portal and NIL and all this crazy landscape that college basketball has become these days, I started thinking about how much the game has truly impacted and shaped my life from the time I was a young kid until now. Some of you actually may know this. I know people that are close to me and to our family, but when I was born, my dad dribbled a basketball out of the delivery room, and to kind of let everybody know that he had his boy, and so I really didn't have much of a choice as to to which sport that I was going to pursue. From growing up here in Bloomington, playing for my dad at South, my 4 years at North Carolina, playing in different countries around the world, to now coaching college basketball for going on 21 years now. The game has certainly been incredibly great to me and provided a countless number of incredible experiences and memories that will certainly last a lifetime. But at the same time, I recognize that my career in basketball is not solely about all the accomplishments and the amazing experiences. I firmly believe it's just as much, for me, about the other side of success, the challenges, the disappointments, the setbacks, the heartbreaks along the way, and then the response to those moments and situations that I think has probably defined and shaped my career more than anything over the years as an athlete and as a coach. I've been extremely fortunate to have a very loving family and supportive family. I've had the privilege to be around a lot of highly successful people, throughout my career. And I think what I've learned kind of throughout this basketball journey that I've been on since I was a little kid is that, anytime you're pursuing a goal, chasing a dream, it requires an unwavering amount of faith, all right, in God's plan and timing for everything. It requires hope and a perseverance to keep going regardless of circumstance. It requires a high level of self-discipline and work ethic to keep showing up every day and giving your best effort. And I think over the course of, like I said, this basketball life and journey that I've been on, those are some of the most important things that I think I've been able to take from, my different experiences, like I said, both as a player and now as a coach. And again, I thank everyone for making this an incredibly wonderful night for both me and my family. And, no matter where the game of life or basketball takes me, I will always have a tremendous amount of pride in being from Bloomington and representing Monroe County to the best of my ability. So thank you very much and have a great night. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. Ronnie Schneider, Bloomington South, 2013, tennis. The most decorated tennis player to ever come out of Bloomington, Indiana. Only the second Indiana high school player to win 3 consecutive state titles, 2010 through 2012, going undefeated each year, finishing his career on an 83-match win streak. Never lost a set in 34 matches his senior year. His last defeat was his freshman year to eventual state runner-up Ray Leonard of Bloomington North. Lost his only other 2 matches in high school, both while playing with his opposite hand his freshman year after fractures in his regular hand, his dominant hand. Think about that. He's playing with your, try and do that sometime. IHSAA Mental Attitude Award winner. He's the first one, as was mentioned earlier, Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame Scholar Athlete 2013 is the first one to be inducted into the Hall of Fame who was a Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame athlete, student athlete. Only 5'9", but had powerful strokes. blazing speed and relentless endurance. Three-time Kalamazoo national champion, 1 in singles and 2 in doubles. Considered one of the nation's top recruits, he chose North Carolina, just like John. Playing number 1 singles, he made the All-ACC first team 4 years and All-Academic for 4 years. Was tournament MVP when the Tar Heels won the National Team Indoor Championship in 2016 and led the Tar Heels to a runner-up finish in 2017. Was named the nation's top collegiate senior in 2017. He turned professional and won 8 titles, 6 in doubles and 2 in singles during his pro career. 3-time U.S. Open participant, twice in the junior division and once in doubles. Reached a world ranking of number 313. Think about that. Think about all the tennis players not in Monroe County, not in Indiana, not in the United States, in the world. And he was 313th. That's amazing, an amazing accomplishment. Returned to Bloomington and served as Indiana University as a graduate assistant for men's tennis. Escorted by Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame coach Mike O'Connell. Tennis great, Ronnie Schneider.
I need Mark up here as my personal hype man. Wow. What an incredible honor it is to be standing here today. And I'm beyond grateful to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. As Mark mentioned, over a decade ago, I was sitting out there in the crowd watching some of my hometown sports heroes get inducted, so it's all a little surreal actually being up here on the stage right now. When I was thinking about what I was going to say, the one overarching word that came to mind was thankful. Thankful that I was able to represent Bloomington and Monroe County at every level of tennis. Thankful to the community who supported me and motivated me during this entire journey. And even thankful to my friends who, if anything, did and still do, they do a fantastic job of keeping me humble. So thank you. There are so many people I want to thank, but a few that deserve special acknowledgement here tonight. First, a really heartfelt thanks to my coaches here in Bloomington. Michael Connell, I was so lucky to come up and join me this evening. Mike's actually been a part of our family for a really long time. Back when he was coaching down at French Lick, he actually coached my dad, who he's sitting next to right now, when my dad was at Jasper High School. So small world there. I wish Joe Doyle and Ron Memat could be here, but they have trips, pre-planned trips with families out of town. Those two, who a lot of you in this room may know, they were the head coach and assistant coach at Bloomington South, and they had roughly a 1% impact on my actual tennis, like a forehand, a backhand, or a serve. They'd be the first to admit it too. I'm not just saying this because they can't find me in the parking lot outside after. But in what was actually important, there are no two better people. They had an incalculable impact, igniting and reigniting my passion for tennis in Bloomington and Bloomington South specifically. And most importantly, in a very broad sense, they taught me the importance of loving and caring for those who mean the most to you in your lives. And for that, I am forever grateful. Also in attendance tonight, my liaison for the event, liaisoning all the way from Florida this past year, Lynn Hauser. Lynn, thank you for telling my story throughout the years in Bloomington. I know myself and our family are grateful for the relationship that we formed and the time that we spent together here. two more special thank yous. First, to my beautiful wife, Laura, my wonderful bride, who has never actually seen me play a single competitive point of tennis in my life. You've heard a lot tonight about giving back and making an impact in your community, and that's the stage of my tennis life that I'm in right now. And it's something that I take very seriously. And Laura, with no background at all in tennis, and in athletics maybe just a little bit, without batting an eye, she dove right in and not only accepts but encourages me to keep pursuing my passion of tennis in all avenues, whether that's coaching my high school team that I will this year up in Indy, different lessons with different juniors, different board involvements all over the place. Is this self-fulfilling on her part to get me out of the house and out of her hair? Maybe. But I know in her heart and instilled by her wonderful, wonderful family, she shares the same passion for giving and community that I do. So the last but absolutely most important thank you is to my parents. The amount of time, effort, and resources given to my passion is impossible to quantify. Weeknights and weekends sacrificed, driving here, there, and everywhere. You really don't realize it when you're a kid or you're growing up. But as each year passes, the greater and greater appreciation that I have. And the thing is, we really did it together. It was just us three, actually four. Can't forget about Peyton, our beloved dog Peyton. 1 minute of an acceptance speech can't begin to scratch the surface of how thankful that I am. But my hope is by the way I live, my work ethic, and by treating everyone with the respect that they deserve, I can continue to make you proud and do right by all that you have given me. So again, I really am incredibly appreciative of this honor, and it's something that I will cherish forever. Congrats as well to all the rest of the inductees tonight, and have a great rest of the night. Thanks.
I think one of the cool things about Ronnie, here he was a guy who's the best tennis player ever out of here, and multi-state champion, pro, won professionally, played the U.S. Open, world ranked. When he came back to IU and was a graduate assistant, every year he was here, he played in the Bloomington City Golf Tournament, which I think is really cool because he wasn't going to be the best. He's not going to be Ike Martin, okay? But he put himself out there, participated, and played and competed. And I thought that was so cool that you did that, because everybody knew who you were. And you're out there playing golf, which isn't your sport, but having a hell of a time and having fun and playing golf. And I just thought that was really cool, Ronnie, that you did that. So just shows what this community's all about right there. Sarah Thompson Figg, Edgewood High School, 2004, basketball and softball. 4-year starter in 2 sports, center in basketball and ace pitcher in softball. In basketball, Sarah finished as the career leader in points, 1,274, rebounds, 700, field goals, 455, free throws, 363, and field goal percentage, 570. Owned the season records for field goals, 177, free throws, 123, and rebounds, 247. Had single game records of points, 35, field goal percentage, 1,000, 9 for 9, and free throws, 1,000, 10 for 10. In softball, Sarah finished as a career leader in strikeouts, 460, and wins, 50. Season records included wins, 16, and strikeouts in a season, 143. Had the single game record of 15 strikeouts, all conference in both sports for 4 years. Played on 3 sectional championship teams in basketball and 2 in softball. Married her high school sweetheart, Carter Figg, an Edgewood football player, and has 2 children, Nolan and MJ. Received teaching degree from Indiana University and is now in her 16th year in teaching physical education at Edgewood Elementary and recently earned her master's degree in administration. Escorted by Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame and Edgewood legend Bill Atkinson, 2025 inductee Sarah Thompson Figg.
Okay. It is much easier for me to talk in front of 5-year-olds than it is to stand up in front of you all here today. This will be short and sweet. I want to say thank you to the Monroe County Hall of Fame for this recognition. Maybe my son will finally believe me when I give him advice in basketball and baseball. I truly am honored and grateful to be here tonight. As I think back about my sports journey, I realize this honor isn't about me, but about the amazing people who helped make me the player I was. My parents, my coaches, teammates, family, and friends who showed up throughout the years and tonight. To my parents, I share this honor with you because without your support, it wouldn't have been possible. Thank you for all your countless hours driving me around and supporting me throughout the years. There were numerous weekends in the summers we would drive back and forth between basketball and softball tournaments. And now having kids of my own who are involved in sports, I know the sacrifices you made for me. You taught me to be humble and the importance of being a team player. Thank you, and I love you guys. To anyone who's met my dad, Chuck, you know he loves to coach. You can still find him on Saturdays in the fall coaching Iowa football from his chair, wondering why they're running the ball on 3rd and 8th again. My dad was my very first coach. He taught me the fundamentals of the game, but also the importance of discipline, focus, and hard work. He pushed me to be better and always reminded me that effort matters more than anything. He believed in me from the beginning and laid the foundation of everything I've accomplished. Dad, thank you for being my coach, and most importantly, for being you. I do have to take a moment to talk about my husband. He watched me throughout my high school career, and we started dating my senior year, so he got to watch me. He was and still is my biggest fan. I remember him making strikeout signs and hanging them on the fence during one of my softball games, and being the loudest fan in the student section during basketball games, even louder than Luke, which is very hard. I love you, and I love the life that we built together. I've had many coaches throughout my life, but there are a few who have made a big impact on my high school career. Coach Dave Brown taught me more about the game than anyone else. He challenged me, taught me to play smarter, and used his knowledge to help our team have great success. I learned so much from him in all aspects of the game, and without him as my coach, I wouldn't be up here tonight. I also want to thank all the assistant coaches I had throughout the years, especially Kate Atkinson. No one forced me to post up and practice harder than Kate. You were a great player and set the bar high, and are one of the reasons I had the success that I did. Another impactful coach would be my high school softball coach, Mick Hammett. When I came in as a freshman, the softball program had struggled, but he saw potential in our class and pushed us to get better and better. Anyone who has coached knows it's tough to balance the hard work and discipline that athletes require while keeping the game fun. If you've been around Coach Hammett, he does a great job at doing that, and Edgewood softball success over the past 20-plus years speaks highly to that. To all my teammates, I wish you could all be standing up here with me tonight. This honor is as much yours as it is mine. I couldn't have been the player I was without each and every one of them, and I truly mean that. I didn't care about breaking records or individual accomplishments. I wanted our teams to be great, and I think we accomplished that in both sports. We won a lot of games and many sectional titles. I played with 3 girls from the very beginning, Tara, Mandy, and Courtney. You have been We have so much history and have great memories together, and that is something I will cherish forever. And lastly, I have to say thank you to Len Hauser, who nominated me for this award. He covered Edgewood sports when I was in high school and really put Edgewood sports on the map, or girls sports on the map. Your commitment to covering our games and highlighting our hard work and dedication was apparent with all the front page stories we had. I only wish the Herald Times photographer could have maybe taken some better pictures of me. Thank you for showcasing girls sports and letting everyone know how awesome we were and continue to be. Thank you to my family and friends for taking the time out of your very busy lives and coming here to support me tonight. I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you.
Couple of announcements before we get going. They're videoing this. That'll be in a link that we'll send out to our class, 2020-25 class. Also, do not forget your memorabilia back here that you brought in to be able to take home. Thank you for sharing your memorabilia with us. Before I throw it back to David, let's give a hand one last time to the 2025 class. Awesome job.
Okay. Could I have all of the former inductees come on up to the stage, including the newly inducted members of the Hall of Fame? We're going to do the official induction. We'd love for the former inductees to also flank the stage as well. You can come up on the stage, be in front of the stage, whatever you're comfortable with. Come on up, Murphy. Alex is the first one up. Just wherever you want to stand. You can stand up here, down below, but it's great. As they approach this stage, the 12 individuals inducted tonight are joining 157 previous inductees into the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. So tonight, we officially induct these members: Bob Snoddy, Wayne Nichols, Larry Williams, Jim Murphy, Shelby Wilson, Ted Fox, Lance Fox, Andy Anderson, Alex Guyton, Jonathan Holmes, Ronnie Snyder, and Sarah Thompson Figg. Please join me one more time in saluting our Hall of Fame inductee class of 2025. I officially announce your induction. We thank you so much for joining this wonderful class. That concludes our evening. Please be safe, stay cool, and God bless. Thank you all very much. Good night.